We're live. This is the Champaign-Urbana Mass Transit District Board meeting. It is Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. It's 3 p.m. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Blyle.
Yes.
Brown.
Here.
Fasella.
Hi.
Friedman. Nudo.
Here.
Ula.
Yes.
Barnes.
Here.
Quorum present.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as distributed?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is audience participation. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board on any topic? I see we have.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you would like to address the board? Okay. If,
That's just my second time, and I don't have my reading glasses on, so I'm kind of like.
well, let's give you a moment. You'll be asked to approach the podium stating your name and address. It's an opportunity to make a statement to the Board of Trustees as a whole. We do not answer questions. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. Go ahead.
Bon après-midi, that's good afternoon in French. Je m'appelle, my name is Terry Lynn Carteraghi Morgan. I'm a resident of Champaign, which I guess we'll say is 61822. But this afternoon, I'd like to, hopefully, in my mind's eye, point out some items that I feel are very important to bring to the board's attention, as well as to management and the operations staff of the MTD. So first of all, because of the weather, and because at this point I am reliant on public transportation, of which I really, really appreciate, and I'm from McLean County and was very active in attending board meetings and what have you with Connect Transit, but here in Champaign, one of the things that I've experienced, and it's very important, even right now, I could use a mobility aid, but if I had a rollator, rolling walker, even if I had an electric chair or something, and disembarking from a bus over at, let's use for instance, Center Drive and Neal Street by the Macy's stop and the former Zaz restaurant. Okay, they've completed pretty much the construction of one of the bus shelters, and it looks like they're getting ready to put another one where they've got the cement platform poured. However, the shelter hasn't been erected yet. But the platform itself was cleared of the ice and snow. However, if you were to, even to try to get on or off the bus, there's a point where you need to utilize the sidewalk even to get to the street. And this is an issue that the city needs to address, as well as the local businesses and or the tenants, even if they've got a lease and they think that they're just responsible for snow removal for the parking lot. They also have to keep in mind that the sidewalks are very important as well. And the sidewalk from the shelter on the south side of Neal Street and Center Drive, that sidewalk portion is still covered with snow and not really accessible to get to the street, where at this point in time you still have to traverse the roadways to get back and forth. And so, of course, you know, once everything melts, it's not going to be an issue. But until then, that's just one small example of where, well, let's put it this way. When I did get on the bus, okay, the red bus was 5 minutes late. And I said to the young man who was driving, I said, would you please contact your people, the supervisor, whoever, he's got a phone on the bus, could you let them know He could see what I was talking about. Could you tell them? Because he said, oh, that's not MTD's responsibility. Let's get into a civic mindset and say that, okay, here's the phone, I can see that, I'm an MTD driver, I'm gonna call my people, could you call the city? We need to clean off this portion of the sidewalk to the street because it's inaccessible by any of the passengers who are mobility challenged in any way. And he was reluctant, he didn't want to do it. He wasn't interested. That's not my job. Okay. I said, I am going to do my very best to get to this afternoon's meeting. Okay, secondly, I'd like to put in a request, and the most efficient way of maybe thinking of a solution would be to somehow expand the capabilities of West Connect, which is whenever you call and say, hey, I need a ride, it's someplace where they've got like the little territory on the west side of the Champaign metro area, and it's very, very limited. But I can tell you that along Market View Drive from Neal Street, it's a long walk because the yellow bus lets you off at the driveway over by the Kohl's Shopette and Ollie's before you get to Panera. That's a good half a block, let's say. Then you got to negotiate, and this is a city issue that I'll have to take up with them, a very poorly engineered intersection as far as passenger traffic goes. I have to pretend like I'm a car and, you know, look at the traffic lights and make my way across the street that way. But there are no bus stops that are closer to get you to like La Quinta, let's say, where there's an entrance to Marketplace, the south side of Marketplace before.
I apologize. Your 5 minutes are up. We appreciate your comment.
Okay, and I'll have to maybe come later for a couple more things, but I guess it's Edgebrook is the neighborhood. We need some transportation, and maybe there could be a senior rides similar to Safe Rides so that we can call and get some transportation between Neal Street and Prospect.
Thank you, ma'am. Merci.
De rien.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the Champaign-Urbana Mass Transit District annexation public hearing meeting minutes from December 9th, 2025?
So moved.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now is there a motion to approve the Champaign-Urbana Mass Transit District Board meeting minutes from December 10th, 2025 open session?
So moved.
Somebody else second. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. And is there a motion to approve the Champaign-Urbana Mass Transit District annexation public hearing meeting minutes from December 16th, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll next move on to communications. Are there any communications from the board? Hearing none, next is the Managing Director's report. Carl?
Good afternoon. You have in your packet 2 months' worth of statistics. Since we combined our November and December meetings, you have December and you have November and December stats in this packet. So I'm not going to go over the November ones, but if you have any questions, please let me know and we can discuss it. I'm just going to jump ahead to December, the most recent ones. So in December of 2025, the total ridership was 896,843. That is a 4.2% increase compared to December of 2024. The fiscal year-to-date ridership has increased by 5.1% when December is added in. So we are continuing to have a positive ridership growth there. Moving on to operating revenue, the December 2025 operating revenue was 2.4% above December of 2024, and the year-to-date operating revenue was basically even. It was technically about $300 shy of last year, but it's basically even. The operating expenses for December were 1.4% below December of 2024, and the year-to-date operating expenses were 2.7% above FY 2025. The year-to-date operating revenues were $1.2 million above budget, and operating expenses were $2.5 million below budget. And with that, since we have a packed agenda, I'm keeping my comments short, again, unless you have questions, which I will take through page 81 of your board packet.
Questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Carl. Now we'll move on to action items. The first action item is the election of board officers for a one-year term. According to MTD bylaws, the chair and vice chair positions are elected from the Board of Trustees for a one-year term at the first regularly scheduled board meeting after January 1st. As previously approved by the board, Katie Good is secretary of the board and Amy Snyder is the treasurer. These terms are indefinite until the board takes action to the contrary.
I move to nominate Dick Borens for another term as chair.
I'll second that nomination.
Are there any further nominations for chair? Okay, now we'll take a vote with a roll call vote, if we would get that from Katie.
Blyle? Yes. Brown?
Yes.
Fasella?
Aye.
Friedman?
Yes.
Nudo?
Yes.
Ula?
Yes.
Barnes?
Abstain.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
By the way, nominations do not require a second according to Robert's rules.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry, I did not hear.
Dick Barnes has been elected chair of the board.
Okay, now we will open nominations for vice chair.
All right, I'll nominate Alan Nudo.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, all those in favor of Alan Nudo as vice president? I guess we need to take a roll call.
Blyle? Yes. Brown?
Yes.
Fasella?
Aye.
Friedman? Nudo?
Abstain.
Ula?
Yes.
Barnes?
Yes?
Alan Nudo has been elected as vice chair of the board.
All right, thank you, Katie. Our next action item is to consider the MTD Board of Trustees regular meeting schedule for the calendar year 2026. You've seen that in your packet. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, if not, is there a motion to approve that regular meeting schedule for 2026?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Blyle? Yes. Brown?
Yes.
Fasella?
Yes.
Friedman? Yes. Nudo?
Yes.
Ula?
Yes.
Barnes?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Our next action item is to consider ordinance 2026-1 annexing certain territory north of Airport Road, Urbana. We have time for discussion. Are there any comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve ordinance 2026-1?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Blile,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Fasella,
Aye.
Friedman. Nudo,
Yes.
Ula,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Our next action item is to consider ordinance 2026-2, annexing certain territory, northeast Urbana. Is there any discussion? Hearing
We
none, will
adopt the
the...
ordinance.
I'm sorry? Did you have a comment?
No.
Oh, okay. Hearing no comments, is there a motion to approve ordinance 2026-2?
So moved.
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Blile,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Fasella,
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Nudo,
Yes.
Ula,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Our next action items are to consider Resolution 2026-1, setting a public hearing for an annexation in Cherry Hills, and Resolution 2026-2, setting a public hearing for an annexation of Illinois Power Ameren Services Tract.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize to interrupt. I think you missed one of the ordinances, number 3.
Weren't there 3 ordinances to be approved?
There are 3 on this page. I thought we just did, we did 2. I have 3 more
It's
here.
item E, Chair.
2026-1, 2, and 3.
Could I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2026-3, annexing certain territory in East Urbana?
Second.
Thank you for that point of order. Okay, well, will the clerk please call the roll?
Blile,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Fasella,
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Nudo,
Yes.
Ula,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, now we'll consider Resolution 2026-1, setting a public hearing for an annexation in Cherry Hills, and Resolution 2026-2, setting a public hearing for an annexation of Illinois Power Ameren Services Tract, and Resolution 2026-3, setting a public hearing for an annexation of Liberty on the Lake subdivision. Is there any discussion? If not, is there a motion to approve Resolutions 2026-1, 2026-2, and Resolution 2026-3?
I'll make that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Blile,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Fasella,
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Nudo,
Yes.
Ula,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Our next action item is to consider Resolution 2026-4, committing local cost share to Build Grant Program. Is there any discussion on this one? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 2026-4?
I so move. I so move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Blile,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Fasella,
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Nudo,
Yes.
Ula,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes?
Motion carries.
Our final action item is the semi-annual review of closed session minutes. Number 1, that the minutes of the closed session minutes of the board listed on Schedule 1 marked release no longer require confidential treatment and are ordered released. Number 2, that the need for confidentiality still exists as to the minutes of the closed session meetings of the board listed on Schedule 2 marked remain confidential. And number 3, that the verbatim recordings of the following listed closed session minutes, Schedule 3, all of which are not less than 18 months old and the written minutes have been approved, are authorized to be destroyed. Is there a motion for 1, 2, and 3 that I just mentioned?
I move the motion that's listed on page 173 of our packet.
Normally, don't those get passed around for us to check over, or is that?
No, Phil, that is when you're approving the minutes at the meeting following the closed session. This motion is about either releasing or keeping confidential minutes that have already been approved by the board.
All right, I'll second that.
I would note for the record that the Schedule 1, 2, and 3 essentially make no change whatsoever in the status quo.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the closed session minutes marked Schedule 1 be released, closed session minutes marked Schedule 2 remain confidential, and the verbatim recordings of closed session recordings marked Schedule 3 are authorized to be destroyed. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Lyle,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Fasella,
Yes.
Friedman,
Yes.
Nudo, Ula,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next regular Board of Trustees meeting will be on Wednesday, February 25th, 2026 at 3 p.m. here at the Illinois Terminal 45 East University in Champaign. Now we will adjourn into closed session to consider the employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a public official, followed by adjournment. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Lyle,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Fasella,
Yes.
Friedman,
Yes.
Nudo,
Yes.
Ula,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, there will be no further action by the board. We will take a 5-minute recess and then begin the closed session.